Welcome to the astrology for the week ahead. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, kindness, and peace, is moving into Virgo. And she's going to make a beautiful trine to the asteroid Abundantia for things that are abundant in our lives, while also coming together in a conjunction to the asteroid that has to do with one of the three spinners of fate. Her name is Lachesis. And so we're going to talk about the thread of one's fate related to the word abundance for each of our signs and how this may show up as we approach the end of this week into the weekend. Now, Venus in Virgo is in her detriment. She's not in the best of shape, but that's okay. She's just more Virgo-like. She's more pernickety and detail-oriented, and it's not the end of the world. However, for world events, we also have her hooking up to that eclipse on September the 21st, as she's going to be witnessing it from Virgo. So in that regard, that's not so great for the matters of women and the world, but we will be bringing that to our attention in my second eclipse video coming out on Thursday. Hopefully you're receiving this week ahead video on Monday. In fact, what we're talking about here is Monday, the 15th of the month. No, sorry, yes, to the 21st, which is the day of the eclipse, Sunday. So welcome to my channel. We're talking all about the sky for the week ahead. I'm going to go through it with you. I'm going to rotate the dial, and I'm going to talk about how it might feel, for instance, on Tuesday, when the god of war is going to be directly opposite Chiron, the place of the wound. Well, also they're in a wedge formation to Venus in Libra in her home kingdom. That could be a good moment for some kind of peace agreement in the world. I think I just spit. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses, on all of that jazz, fixed stars, minor asteroids. If you want to come study Sky Reader with me, my teaching this class sixth year now. It's 6 weeks long, live with me. You're probably getting this past the early bird discount code of Sky20 for 20% off, but I have a new code for Sky10 for 10% off that lasts another week until the 21st. If you want to get a discount, come on, join me. We have live Q&As, a Discord group, a Facebook group. We have 5 guest teachers teaching on relocational astrology, zodiacal releasing, Sabian symbols, and more, grand aspect patterns. So it's chock-a-block with content. Why do you want to take a course like this? Well, you want to learn to read your own Sky Reader, because you're going to learn the language of the sky, the language of astrology. And I'm also going to teach you some very easy to use timing tools that even a pretty beginner learner will be able to use to time your best life. So come join me. In the description box, there's a link. We're probably going to close the enrollment cart since class starts on Saturday, the 27th. All replays available. You keep the content forever, you know, the whole gig. We're probably going to close the cart down on Friday, the 26th. Probably in the morning, so I can make sure everything's accounted for. So do check it out. It's quite affordable, and I love teaching. Now, let's get back to and everything in the description box or pinned to the comments will explain how to enroll and what you can read about the course in more detail. Okay, guys, look, there's a lot going on. I'm recording this on Friday, September 12th. I will very briefly address what everyone's asking me to address on my channel, which is what happened to Charlie Kirk. I put a video. I put an article out on September the 11th about this situation with Charlie Kirk, about his chart, about what I think happened. Most obvious is Mars out of dignity, out of his home sign, in bad shape, crossed right over Charlie Kirk's sun and his moon, by the way. And Mars was directly crossing over his sun at the time that he was killed. But there's a lot more in that chart to explain what happened. I will just briefly share with you something here before we go ahead and do the week ahead. But I'm also very active on Substack, and that's where I have a lot of I put content out there that I could say to you things I will not say here for lack of, I don't want to be algorithmically suppressed or demonetized. For example, basically YouTube demonetized a video that I had put out for September, like the overview video, because I said there might be a kind of a 2001 9/11 type calamity around now, right around 9/11. And it can even be what we just saw happen to Charlie Kirk, some kind of shock and awe event. But because I referenced 9/11 and US soil and the word terror, I ended up getting it demonetized. So I just want to keep it simple. Go to my Substack and read about stuff. A lot of it's free. You can upgrade to subscribing if you want, but you don't have to. Now, I'll show you the chart briefly. I really mean briefly. I mean, people laugh at me when I say it'll be a 5-minute talk and then that's it. No. I really mean briefly. Let me show you something about the asteroid Tyler and the asteroid Robinson, because as of the day's recording on the 12th, This is the guy who supposedly is in charge of this situation, of a very precision sniper event. Very possibly he has those sniper skills, and very possibly he did do it. Did he do it out of some kind of personal agency or some kind of like, philosophical or psychological, psychological issues, mental health issues, out of issues to do with his, political stripes? I don't think any of those are true. But if he did do it, he might have been coerced to do it or hired to do it. I'm not sure that he did do it. That's the other thing. But because you guys know what a patsy is, right? So there is that thing. But there's a lot of controversy about why this happened because of what Charlie Kirk was saying in the world that was against the Nation of I in the Middle East. He had begun to be anti the Nation of I for various reasons, to do with the Epstein thing, to do with honey trap stuff, to do with the possibility that Israel stood down on October 7th to let it happen. I mean, in other words, he said this. I'm not saying this. And that has put him out of favor with the Nation of I, as you can only imagine. If you don't know who Charlie Kirk is, he has a following of young conservatives who are literally, part of the big wave of people who would have voted for Trump. He's attracted he's got a movement. He's a big influencer of 18 to 24-year-olds. Okay. That is exactly the cohort in America that the Nation of I, Israel, doesn't have any handle on in the United States right now. There's one guy in my neighborhood with a muffler-free motorcycle. And one day when I'm out there walking and I see that motorcycle guy, I'm going to wave him down and say, can you not already, please? Thank you. Stop. All right, here we go. Let me show you the chart. Let's do it. I'm using astro.com, not my Astro Gold, because I have more asteroids I can choose from on this software. If you haven't taken my free asteroids course yet, please do. Everyone loves it. 6,000 people have done it already. Once you learn about the minor asteroids, I teach you how to find them in your chart using this software that we're looking at. You'll never go back. I'm going to have to upgrade to get the ads out of here for you guys, a paid version of this. Okay, so Charlie Kirk is born October 14th, 1993. He was 31 when he died. It's his profection age, 8th house profection age. Can be about death, experiencing death in one's life, like a death and rebirth experience. So sometimes it can really be death, not often. It can be like, I'm retired, I'm leaving a long-term marriage, but sometimes we experience or death of people in our lives, but it is the archetype of death. So he's in his 8th house death profection age when he is shot to death, right? Also, we don't know that he's a Taurus rising. I did a quick rectification to write my article for Substack. I put his ascendant pretty well on Donald Trump's midheaven, major supporter of Donald Trump, but also on the fixed star Algol. Just as Donald Trump has his midheaven high noon there, his political height of his career. So I'm sorry about that, guys. So does, I think, Charlie. Decapitation, losing one's head, is the Medusa archetype. The Medusa was guillotined, basically cut off at the neck. Donald Trump almost had his head clipped by a bullet now, apparently, in 2024. Now, Charlie did have his neck shot and his head removed, so to speak. He's no longer with us. He was a position of leaderful power, right? Leaderful power. He was a man of powerful leadership over a cohort of people in the United States. So I'm going to keep that for now. It's just a placeholder. Everything I'm about to show you doesn't necessarily have to be related to having a time of birth, because you can just say all of his planets were here like this. I can describe his character in a lot of ways and see what this young man was up to. Let's just say that right now. That's my Aries speaking. Now, look, here is the thing. This is what I talked about in my Substack article, which has gone viral, by the way. So if you want to go check it out, it's gone insanely viral. This is the asteroid Israel, right? No matter where this falls in his chart by house, this is the asteroid Israel. It is squaring his sun here, Jupiter's sun. The man had a sort of religious zealotry. Libra is a sign of justice, and he was out on his mission for pro-family. And, he's a conservative man with a religious background, believed in God and all of that. Nothing to say wrong with that, right? There's his wife, his marriage goddess, and there's his moon. He is a balsamic moon. That's an old wise moon who's been around the reincarnation block many times. But what I want to point out is really this, there was people suspected a foreign entity created his death, right? Hired someone, was in charge of it. The only foreign entity I could find that could possibly be involved in this regard is the asteroid Israel squaring his sun, and the asteroid Israel therefore being maybe complicit as it trines the Mars-Pluto storyline, right? So Mars-Pluto here, Mars-Pluto is brutality, it's murder, it's terrorist events, yada, yada. And Israel's hooked up to that in this guy's chart, in Kirk's chart, Charlie Kirk, and also this stuff here, which is where Mars is transiting right here, right on his sun the day he was shot to death, right on his sun. That's Mars, in case you want to know. Now, I took some time to look at the asteroid Tyler Robinson today, clear all drawings. I'll go quickly through that for you. When he was born, he had somebody named Robinson. There's only one Robinson asteroid, and it's in his 7th house with Mars. Mars is shooter energy, okay? But Pluto is secrets, and Mercury in Scorpio is intelligence agencies. So I'm going to say that the real shooter was hired or co-opted or mind controlled by some intelligence agency. But we see the word Robinson opposite perhaps his ascendant, which means someone who's an open enemy or an enemy or can cause you harm with weapons and stealth and intelligence and secrecy, all the good Scorpio stuff. But also the asteroid Tyler in his natal chart is relatively interesting as another element of it. It's very funny that both names are exactly available in asteroids. There's Tyler, right, with his fallen Venus and asteroid America. And there's Tyler with Chiron and Pholos, a game-changing domino effect event. You know, it is Venus here that will be involved. His 28-degree Venus is being eclipsed on September 21st with asteroid America. Venus represents things to do with sexuality, and he was, I think, somewhat averse to, I don't know if he was against trans people as much as trans, influence or maybe education or pushing it in schools. I'm not sure. Again, I'm Canadian. I wasn't following him before this. I don't have a strong opinion. I'm a humanist. I don't think anyone should be murdered for their what they speak or what they believe. I think he might have said many times he just wants open dialogue. I believe that's one of his lines. Okay. But anyway, he was undone here. And that eclipse to his Venus, especially if he's really a Taurus rising, because that's the body, the ascendant, the lord of his body, his chronicator, his Lugna lord being eclipsed on the 21st of September could be the eclipse of his body, right? And with Algol, maybe the neck or head. And so I'm pretty sure I think he is a Taurus rising. But what about the transiting asteroids as well? On the very day of the event, transiting Israel was coming back to Israel. We call that an Israel return, an asteroid return. That really kind of activates the natal potential for sure. And in fact, transiting asteroid Israel was almost exactly square Mars, the shooter at the time. So there's a connection to shooter and Israel. Maybe it's just the news cycle and people chattering about it, like conspiracy theory wise. I don't know. And second of all, the asteroid Tyler was with Mars transiting. Look, transiting with Mars. Tyler and Mars were together. Mars is about guns, weapons, shooting, murdering, homicide. Tyler and Mars were transiting over his sun and his moon. And by the way, the moon is another place where we look at the physical wellness of the body as well. And that's suspicious. And over here, we have Robinson. So it's like Tyler Robinson is transiting over with Mars, the shooter, this vital force energy, the place where your heart beats blood, of this felt young man. And the moon was being impacted as well. And the sun-moon impact combination, without even worrying about the ascendant, can be extremely deadly. If you are a leader and the sun represents world leaders, people of influence, people who have power to lead other people, then you are going to be potentially harmed by eclipses. You must be a leader for this to be meaningful, not you and me. All solar eclipses in the ancient world are the death of the king, the death of the leader, the harm to the leader, illness to the leader. And therefore, as we see this occurring on the sun, the Mars is over the sun, and the eclipse is on the ruler. The eclipse itself is on the ruler of his maybe of his ascendant. There's a possibility, just because he was leading young people in a conservative movement of great strength and power, he was quite successful. Maybe what the sky is showing us here. I got a lot I could say. He wrote a book when he was like, I think 18. That's the goddess of authorship up here, Athena, ruling his house of book publishing. His book was revolutionary. That's the Uranus energy. He was shot on a campus, right? On a campus setting. This is campuses. He wrote the book when he was in university. You can see that if this is truly his chart, then maybe this is why this happened. Mars was squaring the house of campuses. Tyler Robinson was squaring the ninth house of campuses. All said and done, you can see the destiny play in the sky. All right. I'll be writing more about this on Substack, diving into things I won't say and can't say here on YouTube. But again, a lot of my political commentary or astrological world commentary is free. And I have extra stuff that isn't, a little more all signs content over there. So check it out if you want to become one of my Patreon members. Patreon, Substack. I hope I said Substack all along. I write about this stuff on Substack at the Pluto Chronicles, not at Patreon. Sorry, guys. Let's go ahead and do the all signs for the week ahead. And let's roll. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're new here, I would love to have you as one of my regulars, and it really helps the channel grow. I would appreciate the support. Now, this is just starting the week. Let's move us back day by day, just so you can see. And I'll pin it to Aries just for our, a visual ease, okay? To start out, let's pin it to Aries. That means that when I'm turning the wheel, the whole wheel isn't changing, just the planets. So I just want to note something. I'm not going to delineate this for your sign because it's too soon in the week, and I want to focus on things at the end of the week. But on Monday, you'll notice right away that Mars is starting to form a direct opposition to Chiron on the asteroid Child. That's the wounds of war that involve children. Chiron is woundedness in the sign of aggression and war. Children being wounded. Certainly Charlie Kirk's two children have been wounded by this moment. Don't forget Charlie Kirk's sun is right over here, and it was right at this point a couple of days ago, 21 degrees, when the event occurred. So the wounded children of Charlie Kirk because of aggression, war, conflict, guns, shooters, for sure. But also for the world. I mean, we have children in peril in Gaza. We have a lot of shock and disgust at that war in this world. And Mars is going to, in his detriment, where he's out of balance, cross that wound. And all I can imagine is something in the collective sphere on, Monday or Tuesday. It could happen Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Will shock us even more, unfortunately, more bad, horrible, harm to young people, children, child, wounds of war stories. And Venus, she's over here. Did I say in Libra in the beginning? I'm sorry. She's over here in the sign of Leo. And she's hooking up to this as well. She's like a queen or a royal energy here. And she may actually represent a female. And so there may be some big stories, child wounds, right? Through aggression could be the Epstein files. Quite conceivably, we might be seeing more of that. So we could see her hooking up to this story. And especially because of the asteroids right over here. I'll get to that in a minute. And she is going to be, talking to Mars. She's a part of a wedge. So there may be some major breakthroughs and harm done to young people through the whole Epstein storyline. This is a Clotho here, not Clotho, Lachesis. I'm bringing that's Lachesis. Let's stop the share and make sure who's who. Sorry, it's easier to stop the share and get back to the asteroids. Okay. This baby is Lachesis. Yeah. So this is like the thread of fate that, the three spinners of fate. One was spinning, one was pulling the thread, one was cutting the thread, snipping the thread. So this is about fate and destiny. So very fated destiny stories coming through for females. And this is very empowering for women with the Leo energy, but Mars is in detriment. So those are the naughty, bad, really corrupt power men who got honey trapped by Epstein. So some of the ways to describe this is an assessment partway through a sequence of events, right? It's the middle of the thread. What can interrupt the process? Keeping it from going exactly as expected or taking a time out. That's what my software reader says about this particular thing. I think she's one of the three Morai. She's a spinner of fate. So it represents fated events for sure. And right here is Siwa. And this is happening, to be a part of the story. She's a mother goddess of the Slavic people, and she protects women's work and women's destiny. So if you're going to think about a protector for women, you're going to think about is there something coming through? Maybe it's one of the senators, one of the Congress people, maybe a particular female who got into that whole Epstein thing, who was one of the survivors, coming through with a major blow against trafficking, pedophilia, and all the dark things that happened there. I probably shouldn't have said those words. And Siwa also is about accepting that, so ending of fixed beliefs, crisis of death and regeneration, and accepting that something must break down to make way for something better. So there's an intensity around this part of the sky for sure. Donald Trump has his ascendant here in this hot mess as well. And so, everyone worries about his health. And I think, the spinners of fate spins the thread of our life, stretches it out and cuts it. This is a stretch out goddess. We may be seeing something going on with Donald Trump, and maybe about his health could be possibly happening here. I'm not saying for sure, but that could be news stories or events that we're seeing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday into the early part of this week, right? In our individual lives, I won't delineate that one. It's very short-lived. It's really, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and it's kind of a complete thing. Now, Venus is going to move into the sign of Virgo, and that's going to be important. She's going to be there for approximately 3 weeks. And there she is moving over on Wednesday into that sign. And as soon as she enters into the sign of Virgo on Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time sometime, we're going to notice that here, Eastern Daily, we're going to notice that she is really connected very strongly on what we call her ingress with this particular asteroid, Sila, Nunam. This is a creator god and goddess narrative, and it has to do with the Eskimo or Inuit tribes, and a lot of earth goddess, a lot of goddess energy following Venus right now, which I'm excited by. So she rules over fertility and childbirth, and her hubby was a sky god ruling over weather and life force energy. And he breathed life force into her creations. So it has to do with the software will say harmonizing the forces of life, but it's also about the idea of the earth goddess herself working with the sky god to bring things into being. So in the individual delineations, I'm really going to focus on what it is you want to create in life. What do you want to bring something into being? Yes, of course, this next guy, Lachesis will follow her right away, but she starts off all by herself, hanging here with this Siwa, is it Siwa? No, Sila Nunam asteroid. Abundantia is over here. And the story that's going to play out is about abundance. And so it's abundance from Taurus, her home kingdom, and she can direct that abundantia. And her new location, oh my God, my brain, guys, it's been a long day. I got to move her over. Sorry, she moves over on Friday. I don't have editing time. So some of you might have caught me noticing I got it wrong, but it's a creation goddess. It's a spinner of the threads of fate, what is fated in your life at this time? What do you want to create? What is it time to make in your life? And the Slavic goddess who's a protector of women, especially women in childbirth. Then we got all of this beautiful energy here flowing back to Abundantia on Friday. And so what I really want to focus on for you is not just Friday. This is building up, but we're going to say Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, this weekend coming. What's this abundance energy about? And it also connects to the abundantia energy in Taurus, especially retrograde. It might be there's almost like a treasure chest buried in your past that you can pull up and use in your sign. So we're going to do all signs. I'm going to draw a card today. Now, this is a really cool. I'm looking for something very feminine to give you guys because I see the abundance in there. Let me look for a good deck on my shelf. I'll be right back. No, I know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use Colette Baron Reed's The Wisdom of the Oracle. Where does she go? Because she has a section for prosperity. So I'm particularly going to focus on the prosperity angle, a card draw with the astrology. And so we'll just read the prosperity section of this deck. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this is your kind of cup of tea. Become one of my, fans and followers. And I do read my comments, by the way, not all of them. That would be impossible, but I do respond to you guys. So please don't forget to say something to me in the comments, and I will definitely, when I see it, respond to you. Let's get going and let's do all signs. All right. I don't know that I'm sharing. Sorry, guys. I'm opening it up. Oh, there we go. All right, let's talk about your sign, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm one of you. I have a sun and moon. Listening for your rising sign, you're listening to your simulation avatar in the game of life. Listening for your sun, it's your career and purpose. Your moon, you guys are listening for your home and nest and safety and mind and feelings. I say this every time. It kind of gets tiring. So Aries, look, it's so simple here. It's just so simple. You've got to say, what does it feel like to have Venus every freaking year in your sixth house? It feels like you're working hard. It feels like every time she's here for 3 weeks, roughly the same time of year, you're digging in to be detail oriented, but also trying to find the enjoyment in the service you're doing and the work you're doing. She's going to move into your sixth house of work, and she's going to immediately flow to abundance in the house of earnings, money, and possessions. Quite possibly, you're going to feel very flush with success, feel very financially abundant through something going on in your work story as we approach this weekend, especially, let's say, I say you start to feel it Thursday through to Sunday. Another element of this is your health. Venus is the goddess of pleasure, and she's very much about nutrition and health and good eating and fine care of the body through what you do in your dietary habits. Abundantia is in what you ingest. Can you find yourself abundantly healthy because you're digesting the proper food? And you've got this beautiful goddess trio here. Something fated and destined is happening here with the spinner of fate. You've got the goddess who wants to create something with her sky god husband. What is it you really want to create in a new attempt for better health, for more rejuvenation and goodness in the way you feel and look? But also, your face is also the second house. So also maybe feeling better about your physical facial appearance can come off of this. OMG, I need to close my blind. Yeah. I'm in one of those things where I do not have the most perfect setup, guys, for my recording studio. It's a great window until the sun comes through at the end of the day. Guess I'm going to have to remind myself not to record here all the time. I'm like, because it's also like, I'm making me sweat. Whew. Holy man. All right. So, and let me finish this, Aries. Let me like get that light down out of my face. Okay. So, whew, I'm hot again. Now I can't wait till the summer is like less summery. Vancouver, Canada, it's still hot. So anyway, pets, possibly, but not really. You might be looking at a possibility of a new pet coming off of this. Jupiter could support more children in the home, so to speak. But I don't know that that's really going to happen with this, the way the degrees are focused. So I'm more saying, look at the health, look at the work, and look at something about the feeling of abundance. Certainly, Venus tells Abundantia, let's give her what she needs. Let's bring the abundance in, or him, which doesn't care what you are. Should be a nice little pop this Thursday through to Sunday in your financial wellness. Let's get a card for us and see what we get in our Oracle deck. And the Oracle deck is The Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. And let's take a card out of here. I think I need a fan. Go the distance. We're talking about prosperity, and it's tied to your house, your Artha houses, right? So work and money, and health and food. 47. Let's take a gander at that for you. If you don't work at all, you're retired, then what ways can you improve your health for sure? 47. Yikes. I'm not hot. I'm extremely hot. I'm not in the way you want to be hot. Oh my God, 47. Oracle message is, okay, keywords, endurance, strength in the long haul, but prosperity message. Your most precious dreams, Aries, are not about instant gratitude or gratification, but enduring prosperity. Yes, because Venus doesn't care for instant gratification in Virgo. She's being of service, and she wants things to be practical, and she wants to persist in what she gets done, Earth sign. This is a time to think long-term, engage in continued action. You will experience momentum building you as you translate the ebb and flow into slow and steady movement forward. Your efforts, ideas, and hard work can now lead to greater riches than you imagine. Stoke the fire so that uninterrupted stream of energy is available to support you in all phases of manifestation. Be assured that you are in the right place now. Okay. I love that for our prosperity message. Don't give up. It's like the little engine that could. I can see that being true for me. I'm teaching Sky Reader. I'm in the enrollment card is open. Everyone come on in. And then I'm doing a lot of customer service for people who are confused So don't give up, Lori. You got to keep going. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, Venus is the lord of your sign, and every year she moves into Virgo around this time of year for about 3 weeks. Here she is moving into your 5th house of sexuality, romantic love, fertility, pregnancy, and children. Anytime she's here, you are highly fertile. It is when you need to be very careful with your birth control. Even, I don't care if you're the woman or the man, right? Like whoever, be careful as a couple. And partner engagement and risk of pregnancy will be high at this time. The spinner of fate, Lachesis and all of that, yeah, fated events, mother goddess who pricks women in childbirth and pregnancy. For you guys, Tauruses who are partnered up, men or women, this is a cautionary note about pregnancy, especially given that there is a square from, shock and awe energy over here. You might just find yourself unexpectedly fertile. I would also mention that you have abundance. You are abundant, but there's a cornucopia of abundance. This is about what brings us positivity in our life, what brings us fruitfulness. Now, to be fruitful can be to be fertile, right? And growing a baby, but you can experience a personal sense of affluence or abundance or whatever. An overflowing positive energy Thursday through to Sunday. Sometimes, even if you weren't expecting a pregnancy, it could be something that you're happy this happened. And so that's one small possibility. Sexual and romantic love is here, a fated new sexual partner coming your way. It's possible, and you feel fruitful and abundant because of the love that's emerging. If you are somebody who is an artist, a creator, an entrepreneur, well, this could be extremely positive for you because there's a sort of fated thread of Lachesis being spun for you here with this beautiful energy of the creator goddess who works with the sky god to make her creations come to life. Right. So I don't know where to go wrong with that for the artists listening today. I think that's extremely positive. You could have fertility for one of your children. You could have good things going on about abundance for one of your children, or for your romantic lover or someone you're dating as well, having some of that story come to them as well. One thing I would say about this energy is that it definitely is something that is given a lot of goddess vibe with these asteroids, right? Of Siwa and Sila Nunam. Oh, I got those right. Yeah, Sila Nunam. And I'm just going to say it feels luscious for you. I think I said Siwa. Siwa protects the women in childbirth, and Sila Nunam is the earth goddess who makes and creates things as the sky god husband breathes them into being. So it's very fertile. Sometimes you get winnings here, winning some money and, abundantia, you feel prosperous. You might have some financial good fortune as well. Look for that to be possible Thursday through to Sunday. As we stop the share, we draw a card from the deck by Colette Bear, and we read the wisdom of the oracle. I like her a lot. I like Denise Lynn as well. I'm an oracle card drawer, but also a tarot reader. I don't have time. People say, when are you going to start your tarot channel? Or why don't you just do a channel with world astrology? Guys, time. I teach classes. I have a Patreon community. I write at Substack. I don't even know. I supposedly have a life. Oh my goodness. I mean, not that I don't want to do it, right? I would love to do it, but who has the time to do it? It's all about time. Okay, time. I sound like one of these like philosophers. I'm going, it's all about time. Okay, I've got the interesting card for you called TikTok. 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 It's like, what is going on? You might have like, sort of like, I don't know what TikTok says about prosperity for you. Let's take a look. Number 30. TikTok, TikTok, your prosperity clock is ticking. Well, I think of that also. For you, those of you who might be thinking of having a baby, is your biological clock ticking. A lot of women have that thing going on. TikTok. Okay, prosperity message. Circumstances appear to be chaotic, but everything is happening now. Everything happening now is in truth shaking things up so you can find the real path to your prosperity. That's Uranus. The shakeup comes from the square to Uranus in the 2nd house of earnings. So there is that energy, okay? Yes, it's a stormy time, and it feels as if there are opposing forces wherever you turn. That was my daughter pinging on my phone or my device, and I'm thinking, I'm telling you, some of you could get pregnant here. Everything, okay, be assured there is a divine purpose in this chaos, and she's a Taurus sun. Everything doesn't work. Everything that does not work is being taken from you so the truest parts of yourself can remain. Events occurring now are essential for your ultimate prosperity. Chaos is divinely inspired, even though it doesn't appear that way now. In time, you will know this to be true. I would say anything that feels unexpected or chaotic, pregnancy, fertility, issues with your romantic life, or prosperity, temporary prosperity blocks with Uranus squaring the fifth house from the second. It could even be one of your children is going through a financial struggle and is pulling you in as well, for example. Okay, moving on to the next sign. And the next sign is, of course, I love I loved that for the last 15 years or so, 16 years, I've had my progressed sun in Gemini. This is secondary, by the way, to our major, like our natal story, but you can look at progressed sun and ascendant and moon as well. So for the Gemini sun, moon, and rising people, the energy is a Venus every year around this time of year for 3 weeks, roughly, enters into your fourth house. And this is your home where you live. Like I'm in the place with the gnarly motorcycle guy making his ghastly sounds on the daily. I think it's about this energy of spinning the thread of fate in destined ways and creating with Sila and Nunam what it is you want to do and be in your home or where you live, actually your home itself. And there's a protector goddess of fertility and women in childbirth, etc. Siwa here. This energy is very goddessy, very feminine, and very amazing. And all I can say is that something good wants to happen here with precision, Virgoian attention. And this energy, Thursday through Sunday, hooks up to abundantia. The abundance is coming from distant shores, far off lands. Sometimes this abundance in the 12th house can be an abundance of spirituality, an abundance of your inner life, especially in the midnight hour here and solo time. So abundance of good things coming to you, prosperous things coming to you from things you do alone at home in the quietude of your solitude and all of that. However, because our modern day world allows for us to make money anywhere in the world through digital income and borderless revenues, that's what abundance means here. And this abundance is kind of backtracking. You've been doing this before. It's not new. And it's flowing to the prosperity or the success, Venus, that you have in doing something from your home that generates this kind of abundance. Possibly because this is Venus in the fourth house ruling the house of children, there may be an opportunity for something to do with a child spending some time with you in the home or an abundance of time with one of your children that you're really going to enjoy. And we can open that possibility up, as I said, as something that you might want to experience as like, I don't know, blessed as the weekend approaches. It's so funny because my daughter and I are spending a mother-daughter weekend getaway on this time, and I didn't even plan it looking at the sky. So I will be spending time with my daughter during this Thursday through to Sunday window. And that could be some of you also having more time with a child in your home or time alone and proximate contact, maybe through some travel even with one of your children. Now, I'm going to draw a card to talk more about the abundance part of the story from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron-Reed and see what the Oracle has to say about Thursday through Sunday sky. Because Thursday through Sunday sky, okay, is all about your story. Now, when I talk about abundance, it can be an abundance, not just of money. Okay. There's so many different forms of abundance. It could be an abundance of everything, like, abundance of love, abundance, but, we're focusing on the prosperity today for the card draws. And that's obviously a money story, right? There's a bunch of gold sparkling in that part of the sky. I kind of know what that one is about. I think it's like where you shouldn't focus only on the money. All right, let's take a look at that. All that glitters is not gold. Sometimes an opportunity looks so good, it glitters like gold, and you just cannot resist it. Now, Venus is fallen, and she's in the house of your home. Another thing I should have said is maybe there's an opportunity for a new home, and you're like, oh, maybe I should take that new home opportunity, or should you? There's a square from Uranus. You could get an unexpected place to live or opportunity coming up, but maybe it's not as good as you want. So it talks about the gold rush and people running after all the gold and everyone finding their fortune in a big rush. So this can deplete you as you chase after the latest shiny thing that has caught your eye. Be careful for that. Thursday through Sunday, there's a mercurial quality to your present circumstances. So pay no attention to those who chase after fool's gold. Fool's gold. What they have achieved may not be true success, not the success you seek. So don't compare yourself to them. You see only the outer surface right now, only the sparkle. So be assured that you will experience your own shining moment if you stick to what you know. All the glitters may not be gold for you. I have to really think about that, because I'll tell you how that works out for me as a progressed Gemini sun. Sun is about career. Maybe there's going to be like this golden career opportunity that's not so golden. And maybe it's also not really my brand. You know, I get a lot of offers to go on people's shows and do stuff. And I'm like, man, that's not really me. That's not my brand. That's not what I'm about. So just some thoughts there. But maybe it's lucrative, right? But it's not ethically in alignment with me, or something else. Talk about this story, guys. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. Wow. Look at this beautiful energy of the Venus goddess pile up. A fated circumstance in the house of a sibling, younger, aunts, uncles, cousins, travel short distance, neighbors, things to do with your social media landscape and communications projects, and even opportunities for learning or teaching skills-based things. So having this here, Venus, with the spinner of fate, with the goddess that protects women in childbirth, and the Slavic goddess Siwa, also Sila Nunam, who's very much about what you want to create. You might want to create something here. It's like launch a website, start a new social media storyline, start a new platform on social media, create a travel opportunity or something like that. And because it also connects to the abundance over here, I feel like you might be looking at some significant prosperity or abundance in a windfall mode. That's because the 11th house is called pennies from heaven, and it does indicate where we could have some kind of windfall event. And yet a windfall could come through a sibling one older, a sibling one younger. These are these houses. This could come from something you're doing in your career gains, like a big lump sum prosperity windfall from something going on in your career. This also could end up looking like, with the square from Uranus, that there's unexpected surprises and disruptions around travel. If you had planned a trip, especially short distance, maybe it's not time for that trip. And I would say that all the destiny factors of Lachesis and the spinner of the thread of fate says, if you have a shocking disruption to a travel plan, that's okay. Just don't go anywhere for a while. Stay, hunker down. Jupiter's protecting you anyway. You look pretty good there. With Mars over here at the same time, maybe some of you are considering a change of neighborhood. Maybe you're thinking of moving. I don't know how I got all the way to the 22nd, so I'm going to move us back. It's really, as I said, Thursday through, kind of get us back a bit here. Some of you might be thinking of a move, and Venus might be saying, well, there is an opportunity to move because you have some prosperity or abundance that comes out of nowhere that allows for a change of neighborhood. And even a property sale or purchase could come from the sky. So let's see what happens for you. And let's take a look at the cards by Colette Baron Reed. I love this deck, the wisdom of the oracle. It breaks it down into relationships. And we're always drawing for the abundance story, right? Poised. So poised, you are poised for something on the abundance front. Well, how about being poised for a windfall or money from an elder sibling or some uptake in your prosperity? 48. That's number 48. Be ready, guys. Be poised. You have every reason to feel confident. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. Woohoo! The direction you're moving in is your destiny, and your soul is smiling, Cancer, with joy as you align yourself with this truth. And we move to Leo. Sun, moon, and rising sign, not by day, sorry, no, but by hour. So kind of Thursday through Sunday of this week ahead, you're going to notice that this is Venus, a money goddess, moving through your money house. She does this on the yearly for 3 weeks, roughly this time of year, like, changes a bit, but yeah. And this is a time when she will do her best to bring you financial success. She could also help you beautify your face or your teeth. She might also be working here with you to modify your dietary habits. Okay, those are things she might do for the next 3 weeks. I'm not doing the whole Venus 3 weeks ahead. I'm just talking about what's going on Thursday, though, through Sunday. Wow. And one of the things I would note is that, and I really like this, is that you do have a bit of shock and awe from Uranus. And although we sometimes are afraid of that, in a square to Venus, it can be a financial change that's unexpected. And this is a windfalls and pennies from heaven house. And so you may not actually mind this. It could be, again, like the Cancers, you may be getting an unexpected financial break that's fated and destined. But the abundance is coming from your career, and you have to pay attention to that cornucopia. It's your reputation, what you do in the world, how people see you acting, what you want to achieve and be successful at. It's your high noon at the OK Corral. This is where the abundance is coming from. This is like somehow it's almost like you win the lottery because of something going on in the work environment that can really accelerate or light it up for you on the prosperity front. And Venus is in charge of what's going on in the third house. So possibly some of you might have some opportunities connected to career and abundance that involve travel or social media landscape, or people in your local environment contributing to some accelerated success in your career. And finally, the elder sibling one above you is up here. And so some financial changes for you that are unexpected, but possibly quite positive. Kaboom, coming at you from the sky. Abundantia is in your house of your career, and she's retrograde. So the work career space is important here. I don't think it's just like winning the lottery. That doesn't feel true. It comes like a windfall of success from the work, from the career in your life. And also, don't forget, Venus here is really good for cosmetic stuff, new makeup, new facial appearances, new dietary habits and styles as well that help you become more profitable in your career. That sounds crazy, right? But like if we're eating the foods we shouldn't eat, we might be too tired to get our brains working, or we're not getting the maximum amount of success because we're, tired all the time, not feeling well. So go the distance. You're the second person to get this card about going the distance. And this is about prosperity. I will read it again, but I do believe it's about persistence and not giving up on what you're working on there. And that's Venus anyway in the money house. The girl is like practical, service-oriented, dedicated to what she's trying to get done. 47. Yay. Now here's the meaning for you. Your most precious dreams are not about instant gratification, but about enduring prosperity. This is time to think long-term, engage in continued action. You'll experience momentum building as you translate the ebb and flow into slow and steady movement forward. Your efforts, ideas, and hard work can lead to greater riches than you can imagine. Stoke the fire so that uninterrupted stream of energy is available to support you in all the phases of manifestation. Be assured that you are in the right place at the right time now. All right, let's talk about you guys, the Virgo people. It's all right happening in your sign. Every year, Virgo spends around this time of year, 3 weeks here, and it's really good for your charm offensive, your persuasiveness, your congeniality, how people perceive you as friendly and attractive. And you might feel better about yourself and get a new wardrobe and change your makeup and all of that. You might get more beauty focused or wardrobe focused or fashion focused or cosmetic focused. That's all just a backdrop for all Virgos here. But anyway, what's going on here with Venus in the first house is that she's hooking up to abundance from the ninth. Now, there is a particular luck energy in the ninth house. It's one of the luck houses. And so it's possible you could come into some financial luck with Jupiter sitting in the house of windfalls, pennies from heaven. So you may perceive yourself as extremely fortunate as you come into a bit of unexpected money, perhaps from your career with Uranus in the 10th house, a raise, a promotion, a performance review bonus check, that kind of thing. I think that with Abundantia, you could be abundant and successful through areas of long distance travel, book publishing, academics, applying for academia, all of that kind of thing. Venus rules that second house of your earnings and money, and there's some changes you're trying to make, and quite possibly you've been thinking of changing the way you make money for quite a bit of time. And so she may have something to say about that as not kind of a new abundance and surprising changes in the career, and profits from your career could feel like a windfall. And, I don't know how to say it. Like if you're not employed, then it could be something new showing up out of the blue that you didn't see coming. And you're so excited because it will improve your financial success. Because there's a wealth energy in the ninth house too. It's like a Lakshmi house. It's wisdom and knowledge as well. And And abundance can come from foreign people, foreign places, foreign things, as well as book publishing contracts and book publishing success. Let's go ahead and see what the wisdom of the oracle cards have for you today. And let's see if I can get this done in time to make a dinner. I'm hungry, guys. Not hangry, just hungry. Okay, so we have the never-ending story for you as a prosperity message. Let's take a look at number 37. Here we go. Coming. All right, Virgo. Fear, envy, procrastination, greed, or the perception of victimhood could be active in your life at this moment. We're talking about money, right? Now I know you're going to say, no, I don't have any of that going on, but Venus is fallen in your sign and she represents prosperity financially. So she represents the money you have in your hand, your wallet. So just sit with that if it's true or not. Are you comparing yourself with others, thinking about their success, that it should be yours? Maybe you're afraid of all the good that is coming your way. You're afraid all the good that's coming your way, so you step out of your own lane. You're afraid all the good that is coming to you, like I don't deserve it maybe, and you're stepping out of your own lane. Totally aware of what you're doing, but seemingly powerless to stop yourself. Are you back where you started or in a situation that reminds you of your past failures? Financial insecurities can be scaring you. You must learn to love yourself through missteps and sabotaging moments. Use criticism constructively right now. Better yet, stop telling that story altogether. Make up a new one. I am effortlessly, massively, generously wealthy is my go-to phrase. The universe loves you deeply and will wait for you to figure it out. Tell a new story and success is all but guaranteed. You can do it. So if you're having any doubts about the money, and abundantia is in a career and reputation space flowing to Venus, I would say lean into being more charitable a little bit. Venus wants to be of service in a sacred way when she's in the sign of Virgo, and she is with the sun that represents your house of the underprivileged. So I'm kind of saying, I know you can't afford it, but be generous. The more generous you might be, not give all your money away, it can help you. Because when we start giving money, or I give a lot of things. I give readings sometimes away. I give free spots to my sky reader, but it's not just because I love giving things away, but it's a spiritual path, because the more generous you are with others, you're telling yourself subconsciously you can afford to be generous, right? So for some of you Virgos, I'm just giving you that advice based on this sky. Okay, I hope that helps for some of you. Moving on to the next sign after Virgo is Libra. Now, hey, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign, let's get rolling. You know, Venus rules you, and she's in your 12th house every year for 3 weeks around this time of year. This time she's going to flow to abundantia. First of all, your 12th house is where you're self-sabotaging and self-undoing shit lies, right? It's also what you do alone, solitude, alone time. Sometimes it's foreign places and money that you receive from foreign entities, foreign countries, foreign companies, foreign people, trade and barter from foreign distant shores and lands. And she's a money goddess. She's a bit in kind of a condition of fall, but she's very precise here. She's got some creator goddesses working with her, right? To spin her of fate, to create something new, to be divinely protected by the goddess of childbirth and stuff like that. So there's a really big goddess bundle going on to support Venus in this story. And I particularly feel that the abundance wants to come from money that you're not earning. I know that you're quite capable of making money on the regular. In fact, you guys can be very hardworking, and you will be, because Mars is going to enter your second house. But I would say this is like, where can you feel abundant in money that you don't have to hustle for? Can you rely a bit more on your partner's money and just not take it all on to be all about you? Can you rely on ad revenue and royalty income a little bit more and less hustle? Can you rely on the inheritance that you're afraid to touch, or some investments that you are maybe reluctant to use? This is about abundance from that kind of money, the chunky money, unearned income, and shared resources. You could get a tax rebate. This is the strangest stuff, but that's where that abundance can come from. But it's also flowing to the 12th house. And so there's a lot of like deep spiritual energy involved in this as well. I mean, to the point where like a dead relative could bequeath abundance to you from the other side by like working as a spirit guide to help you out. I mean, it's very esoteric and occult and spiritual and mysterious in these moksha houses. given that Venus is the ruler of you, right? And she wants to make the good things happen for you. I'm going to say that looks like you could pocket a bit of money over here. Jupiter in your 10th could say, and it could come from your career, but it would be because something you did gave you a singular payoff, you know? Maybe you asked for people to give you a tip, like with an app like Buy Me a Coffee, and your tip jar overfloweth, you know, from the career and reputation space. That's a possibility as well. Uranus can bring some unexpected surprises and disruptions of travel opportunities and travel arrangements and travel trips. And that could be another side story going on as Venus has entered into Virgo. And you might find like a fallen trip. You know, you had a plan, it's not going exactly as you wanted. Don't let that derail you, because there's much better things going on. But that's just one story that I could make there. And let's go ahead and grab a Wisdom of the Oracle card for Libra. I just did Virgo. And let's see what the prosperity message is. New life. Now, she is the ruler of your sign, Venus. And she's going to give you a new life when it comes to your prosperity. Let's take a look at that 39th card. I have no idea what it says. I don't think I've drawn that one for money myself. Wouldn't mind it probably in my new life and my money. You have every reason, Libra, to be optimistic right now as things seem to fall into place magically. I always call the 8th house the magic house, you know, and in the 12th and 8th are moksha, but they're magic. New opportunities remind you that abundance is available to you. Delight in the bounty that begins to appear in surprising chunky money forms Thursday through Sunday. Stay curious and know that your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled. It's as if new life is suddenly infusing your work, your projects, and creative ideas with a kind of electricity that crackles with exciting potential. Fortune is smiling on you. I would also offer to you that the more you do in your creative downtime, alone, thinking about your prosperity, your money, your abundance, because that's where Venus is in solitude, that aloneness can be very, very productive. And we move on to this forecast for this week ahead, Thursday through to Sunday into Scorpio land. Venus is traveling through your house of windfalls. She does it on the yearly. And I know every year for 3 weeks when she's up here, in this time of year, I'm sure you're not getting windfalls. So I'm not going to suggest that, but it is always a possibility, or some abundance from a friend, ally, benefactor, or maybe some financial prosperity through a sibling one older. These are places of the 11th house. But we have a creator goddess here, Sila Nunam, who works to create something new with her hubby, the sky god. We have the protector of women in childbirth, etc. Now, I will say pregnancy is a possibility because Venus is witnessing your fertility and baby making house. And we have a childbirth goddess up here, Siwa, and we have Jupiter flowing here. So unexpected arrival of children and grandchildren could be a story here Thursday through to Sunday, like announcing that you're going to be a grandparent, you find out, or that your partner or you are pregnant. Abundance. Venus is flowing to abundantia in the house of marriage. Now, abundance is a cornucopia of fertility. And I'm just going to say it again. Your partner says we're abundantly fertile. We have a baby in the hopper. That could be a story. Otherwise, you could have a lot of abundance financially through agreements, legally, contracts. Maybe you want to make an agreement or sign a contract regarding work gains. This is the house of the profitability of your 10th house of career, for it is second from the 10th. So this would be signing a contract that brings you to a new level of financial abundance in the career space itself. And things are fated because Lachesis is here, the thread, spinner of the thread of fate. I don't think that Venus is going to necessarily help you win the lottery here, but it could happen with Jupiter's complicity trining the 5th house. So I would say maybe just for fun, know your limit, play within it. Not a bad time Thursday through Sunday to get a lottery ticket. Be cautious, of course, don't overdo it. That's just a small suggestion, because you got some unexpected surprises in the chunky money house as well, where a chunk of money comes at you and you don't know where it's coming from. Only downside is because some of this guy suggests family of origin money and hospital stories that you may have unexpected receipt of money from somebody in your family system who would likely be elder, who would likely be a male. And that would say, well, I got a chunk of money and it was a surprise, but I wasn't happy with the fact that I lost someone I love, you know, elder person in my family. That's going to be true for a very few of you. I've been repeating that story for you because the sky hasn't changed, right? A friend could offer you a very lovely collaboration, contract, or favor. Okay. To the point where, listen, open your emails, text messages, and contacts from friends during the Thursday through Sunday timeframe, because abundance and possibly prosperity or goodness is coming from those people in your life. Let's go ahead and take a card for you and see what we got. Friends can be a source of abundance is your mantra. And I don't think that abundance just has to be money. Like they could be generously offering you some gift and you're like, oh, it's the word gift and I got the card, exchanging gifts. They could be offering you a gift. Like, I can't go to this concert and why don't you take my ticket, right? Or I was going to travel to this place, but I can't go, but I can transfer my ticket. 27, exchanging gifts. Okay, sometimes the universe makes me laugh out loud. Obviously, there's prosperity through being gifted something as well. 27, not 37. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? All your hard work and efforts. I don't know if that sounds like I'm starting with the right one. It is. All your hard work and efforts and your commitment to learning, creating, and spending time wisely pay off in ways you may not have been anticipating. The gifts of yourself, your time, your ideas, and the energy of your intentions are being reciprocated by the universe, reciprocated, right? Coming back at you from somewhere else, which is sending you signs and signals, aligning synchronistic meetings and opportunities to bring you success and more. Everything is an exchange. Keep doing what you're doing. Goodwill comes back at you tenfold. It's almost like, say, you were thinking you want to change your job and a friend says, you know what, I just heard about a great job at this company. I got an inside scoop and an inside edge. Do you want to go for it, or can I get you hired there? It's like that kind of energy. Like, who doesn't want friends who favor you like this? I think a lot of you will find that's mostly what that story would be about. Something from an elder sibling or a friend that's like a gift of some sort coming through. All right. If you happen to be a Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign, then what we've got going for you is a 10th house story, which is career. Venus is in the 10th house for 3 weeks every fall. Here she is again. It's kind of like a mixed bag because it can make you popular, give you perks, raises, rewards, promotions. The boss loves you up. You have public appeal. You're a diva, a star. Everyone wants all eyes on you in the top of your sky. You're like a starlet or a movie star moment, and there is a big but here. And sometimes it's difficult because she's in detriment, but this time she's up there and she's got a lot of support. She's got team, the spinner of fate, one of the Morai saying this is a time of fated stories that are unthreading here. There's like a creative god of the sky god and the creatrix energies of the female creator energy. And there's also Siwa. She's very much a protector of women in childbirth, but just in general. So there's this like a kind of goddess cluster up here, and it flows to abundantia in the work house. And these are called Artha houses. Artha meaning material prosperity, usually connected to work, livelihood, but just also money, and it's the pentacles and the tarot. And so in this regard, you're really lined up for some unexpected financial prosperity. The unexpected means it could come through a sibling, a wife, a husband, audience, a client, marketplace person, and it's kind of like jolt of financial prosperity, but it does align with the work story as well. And prosperity or abundantia in the 6th house could be an abundance of, raises, promotions, and a new workspace. You get the corner office. You might be abundantly successful because your employees nominate you employee of the month. You might just get some kind of real perks in this kind of storyline. Or or if you're employed, employer energies are really luscious. There's an opportunity for a new place to live. If it's a rental property and it's connected to work opportunities, that could open up for some Sagittarius as well. If you don't have a job or career at this point, something you're doing in the public eye that you want to succeed at and be achieving at, looks like it brings you some sort of abundance, and it could be construed as a karmic reward. So that's what we have. Let's go ahead and take the card deck and give you a word card draw from Colette Baron Reads. Second person to get the never-ending story, Sagittarius. And this is going to be all about where you downplay your abundance story, where you down talk yourself. Now that's Venus and Virgo, fallen, right? You might like not believe in yourself financially, but the sky's trying to turn it around for you. This is definitely, I've read it before. I'm going to briefly cover it again. 37. So keep in mind that your mindset matters. Mindset matters in all things. My mantra is I'm effortlessly, generously wealthy, but I put the word generously in there because I'm always giving money away, and I give readings away, give prizes to my courses. I give homeless people money or buy them sandwiches. So, if you have some understanding about why you might feel constricted financially, you can turn it around by your actions and your thought patterns. So they talk about those things: fear, procrastination, envy, greed, victimhood around prosperity. You might feel powerless because you're holding your own self back, and financial insecurities can beleaguer you. You must learn to love yourself through missteps and sabotaging moments. And stop telling the story altogether that you tell yourself about your financial problems or your career and financial problems in your case. The universe loves you deeply and will wait for you to figure that out. Tell a new story, and success is all but guaranteed. You can do it. I'm going to say, go watch the Neville Goddard playlist on Brian Scott's channel. Google Brian Scott Neville Goddard playlist. Start binging on that. That would be one of the best ways to undo a scarcity mindset. And we have Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is like always, every, August, September, Venus tracking for 3 weeks in your 9th house. This is a beautiful energy because it flows to you. It's, earth to earth, but she has always fallen here. This is probably a story for a lot of Capricorns where you've fallen in, like you're prosperous, but fallen in the house of foreign lands, right? I have couple Cap people. I can say, I understand what that means, right? They work abroad, but they don't have time with their family. They moved abroad, but they don't have any social life, whatever, but they're prosperous in abroad, foreign lands, foreign travel. Or you didn't study in university or college what you really wanted to. You fell there. You fell, or you can't find your direct hookup to God. You can't find your spiritual belief structures and can't find the right one. Now, all of that said, though, this is very cool because we have Mother Goddess, Lachesis, the spinner of fate. And this is the house of mentors, guides, therapists, teachers, and spiritual teachers in particular. This is a female energy. And we even have a moon up there. So I'm thinking Thursday through Monday, some of you might get all hooked up with a spiritual teacher, a guide, a mentor who is a female. And this might be a very important story because it will track as abundance and luck in your 5th house of good fortune. Now, 5th house good fortune is romance as well, an abundance of romance because you meet somebody in a foreign land, in a teaching environment, in a learning environment, or you fall in love with your therapist. An abundance also of fortune because this is the house of fortune, good fortune, and it can include financial luck, winning the lottery ticket, that kind of thing. And in this regard, you also have a little shock and surprise from Uranus. Now, that can be where you have indebtedness. You might have a debt to somebody, right? Or they owe you something, or you owe them something. And there may be a sudden shock and awe moment coming up Thursday through Sunday where you can also realize through this abundance, you can eliminate that debt or cancel that debt or close down that debt, or someone pays you money back because they owe it to you. And you're like, wow, that's really exciting. And that's the good fortune that you have here, abundantia. Because this is not money that you have to merit for. It's your good fortune abundance. Something is trying to happen that's positive here for you. And, you travel. We all travel. Travel is a thing. We do travel when we are connected to the 9th house. So you might have some really important reason for travel that can be connected to good fortune, to abundance, to prosperity, to romantic love. And that is its own type of abundance for you. Let's go ahead for you and draw a card. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. Let's see what we get in the world of Cappies. And, one thing about your sky is that because Lakshmi and wealth and luck is the 9th house, and the abundantia in another 9th house. These are both Dharma houses. And the more Dharma meaning being purposefully on purpose, having a meaningful life, leaning into what it is you're here to do. And if you are focused on a kind of asking the universe, what's your path? Where am I going? What am I doing here? I do want to say, I think that's going to bring you the abundance that you want. I really do. A leg up. Usually I think a leg up means someone's going to give you a lift or a help. Or lift up. And don't forget this guide, mentor, teacher, spiritual guide are the meanings of the 9th house. So that kind of could work its way into your life. The pastor, the preacher, those types of folks, the therapist, the life coach, a leg up. 34. Thursday through Sunday, what's going on for you guys? 34, 34. I can't decide what I'm making for dinner, guys. I'm already fixated on dinner. I think I must be getting hungry. All right, here's what we have. Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you're in the live premiere, and to help the channel grow. Now is the perfect time to seek advice from a mentor. Seek advice from a mentor or business advisor who has been where you want to go to help you get there too. If you do, you will be receiving very good counsel and it will aid you in your prosperity. It may also be the case that your endeavors have grown and you are in a position where you can't just do it by yourself anymore. Time to bring on those who can give you a leg up. And that's a foreign house. So foreigners might give you a leg up in your financial good fortune as well. Trust that help is available and it will indeed appear. Delegate authority to others so you can take steps towards your big dream. The perfect people will arrive at the perfect time as long as you step forward with just a mustard seed of faith. You cannot make that up. Okay, does anybody give me a heck yeah in the comments? Oh my God. All right, I'm one of you. I'm an Aquarius rising. This is for Aquarius sun, moon, and rising sign. You're going to notice that we have a yearly transit of Venus around August, September every year through the sign of Virgo. It's our chunky money. We don't earn this money. It comes to us because we're sleeping and the royalty checks are going through, ad revenue maybe. We don't directly put our, paycheck salary in this story. Money from our spousal separation, inheritances, chunks of unearned income, tax rebates. You get the picture. Normally a fallen Venus here is a little worrisome, like you could have a financial problem, but I don't think that's happening at all because we have the power goddesses here, the spinner of fate with the protector women, Siwa with this kind of creative goddess, like the creatrix here, Sila, Nunam, the Eskimo goddess. So we have such a goddess focus here. For you to plant a new seed of creative money making as well, that kind of vibe. But interestingly, also, I want to point you to the fact that abundance is coming from the fourth house. And that's very fascinating because it can be abundance from something you're doing in the home, but it can be abundance that's rooted in your ancestral line and your children, and not your children, your ancestral line, your childhood, the codes of your ancestors in your childhood and your family of origin. And that's flowing to the house of the dead. And I don't know if you guys know this, but we're in a window right now. It'll last during this eclipse portal, where in Vedic astrology, they talk about this being where the ancestors can help us and communicate with us. And so there's a possibility that some of that's going on for you here, that you're getting some assistance from beyond this realm for your financial abundance connected to the ancestors. I would go with that one for sure in this kind of sky, but also prosperity and abundance connected to home, property, land, and real estate are on the menu as well, with Uranus in the house of good fortune and some shock and awe. You might win a lottery ticket. Jupiter in the house of rentals, you might rent a new prosperous opportunity for a new rental property. But all said and done, I feel like the energy of abundantia in the fourth house is literally be like taking the bucket and drawing from the well of your ancestors. And so if that makes any sense for some of you, petition your mom, your dad, if they've passed, your great grandparents, whoever you like connect with. I have my dad's picture right here. I show it to you guys because you're on my Aquarian crew. My dad is always sitting on my desk. Okay. My mom is wonderful, but my dad, I feel drawn to my dad on my desk. And so I'll show it to you when I draw a card. So it's good. I'm in the feng shui corner for my desk here of helpful friends and family, including the ancestors. So it's good to have photos of those who could help you around Thursday through Sunday to petition an ancestor from the other side to give you a hand in something you need help on. And Venus does rule your ninth house of foreign land, travel, publishing, book publishing, traveling. And there may be some opportunities that chunky money arrives that allows for some expansion of your life in terms of some fortunate travel opportunities Thursday through Sunday. Do you take them then? No, but maybe you could have the money to take them. I don't know. Jupiter certainly is giving you a lot of love in the health and work house, and he's not, adverse to supporting Venus in a chunky money gambit as well. So you could come into some kind of karmic debt repayment, or you could pay off a debt because chunky money could show up for you. You could get some money from an ex-spouse off the sky as well, out of the blue. That's just another way it could work. I don't want to explain all the reasons. It has to do with the sun. in the sign of Virgo. So let's go ahead and draw a card for you. I was talking about my dad. So here's my dad. Bless his soul. He was in his 20s when this picture was taken. Can you see that I kind of look like him? If I pull back my hairline, you'll totally get it. Wait, hang on, Anyway, that is my dad, and his name is George. And I often call on my sweet dad for help, especially when it's on the money front, because my dad was a successful business owner. All right, so I'm going to draw a card for us from our deck. And the card that hey, Dad, I cleared the way for him because I had a bunch of paper over him. I need him looking at me this week, right? I think my dad is like literally my guardian angel when it comes to my business, because I feel like he's been watching over me and trying to support me. Oh my goodness. All right. Loyal heart and regeneration came out together. I don't like doing two cards. I usually don't, but they were stuck beside each other. Now, this is kind of 8th house energy, death and rebirth, right? Regeneration. You can feel it. And then you see like a loyal heart energy. I'll read them both for us. No, I'm not favoring me because I'm an Aquarius. They were literally stuck on to each other when I pulled them. So they were stuck together. So loyal heart energy is number 35. And the protection and it is warm in here. Give me a minute. I literally think I'm going to have a hot flash again. If you wonder what I just did, I opened the window further. Loyal heart, number 35. I'm getting like really hot. I swear it's just hot in here. It's not me. Your long-term loyalty to your goals is evident now. This is prosperity. As your aspirations for success assume form in reality. Okay. Success is finally taking shape. If you are loyal to your dreams and faithful to your plans, you'll be shown proof of true prosperity. Now, the other card was regeneration, number 46. And that's what I'm it looks very daunting, doesn't it? It looks very Phoenix rising. The image is like, yeeks. All right, yeeks. But it's about money. So let's go to 46. The 8th house has that kind of intensity, guys. 46, where Venus is traveling. 46 is near the end. Hang in there. 45. Okay, here we go. Whew. Okay, what happens when it appears you failed at something? Do you see the beauty in the lesson or the understanding that arises from difficulties that can be like a seed that, the understanding that arises from difficulties is like a seed that lies dormant in time. Then once it germinates in your subconscious, which is very 8th house and 4th house, it pushes into your awareness. It's becoming apparent there is a new you and a new start. We're talking about prosperity, a more powerful version and a form of what you began to plant in the garden of your imagination has surfaced now. You are ripe for success. This is Thursday through Sunday. New opportunities, much better than those that came before, appear like gifts from the gods. I don't mind that. Now is one of those times when out of seeming loss and failure comes a remarkable abundance. Do not dwell on the past because you are really an expert at rebirth. So it's a financial rebirth. I'm going to address that for me because as an Aquarius rising, I'm so grateful for my career in the last 3 years and the prosperity I've managed to create through my astrological business. But there is a part of that is a failure for me. I always say I'm not the astrological weather girl, but it's also taking a toll on my health, on my life, on my time with my friends, my social world. Like if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would be busy writing fiction books and nonfiction books for you guys and writing. I'm really a writer. I never thought I'd be a broadcaster. Now, I'm not going to complain. Like that's literally a first world problem. But I can see even at that level, that card makes sense for me. If you're an Aquarius like me, can you share how that regeneration card might make sense for you as well, as we're having a prosperity rebirth from the house of death? Then the last but not least is, of course, the Pisces wonder women and supermen of the world, mystic poets of the zodiac. We need you here. We need the mystics. We need the transcendent ones. We need the ones who tune in and channel from beyond other realms. Just as a Pisces rising sun or moon, you've got a lot of juice for that stuff. Now, Pisces, what I want to mention is that every year Venus moves through Virgo. And as she does, she's always going through your marriage house, and she's fallen here. And maybe you can kind of always go back to August, September and track her 3 weeks or so through Virgo and go, my God, that was a tough time with my relationship. Or, oh, I went dating and nobody worked out. Or, I got my divorce those weeks. That's going to always be where you're going to land with some difficulty, or your spouse has challenges. I didn't put the South Node in here, but it's up here. And this indicates maybe a time of year when your partner's going through difficulties as well, or your partner's going to be, draining you or pulling you down or something like that. Now, Venus here, she's got a lot of goddess power, right? She's got the spinner of fate, Lachesis, the thread of your life's fate. And she's got the creation goddess, Sila Nunam, and she's even got some support from Siwa, who protects women. So this is really good if you're married, because this is good juice for your partner, with the goddess cluster, supporting your partner and flowing to the abundance of the third house. So if your partner's been having any financial challenges, maybe they could abundance up because of teaching, traveling, learning, connections to social media, landscape stuff, connections to a local environment, and an abundance flowing for your partner. Maybe you're going to get some new work, some new job opportunities in the local environment. But also this is going to impact you, because you might find that this is a person, and this could be a female. Venus is a female that comes into your orb of influence. And all of a sudden you're going to involve yourself in, because of this story, travel or learning, or getting on a class with that person and studying, because this is this energy right here. And this person can be very good for your abundance, and abundance of thought, abundance of communication, but abundance in general. And third house abundance can be very much about a very profitable energy connected to things you want to do with writing, communicating, speaking, teaching, and learning, and a prosperous energy around all of that as well, Pisces. Marketing, selling as well. If you, especially have your own business, and any of you Pisces who want to start your own entrepreneurial gig, go for it. Jupiter in your house of entrepreneurship says you can succeed. Finally, if you are in a situation where a younger sibling, or a sibling 3 older than you, or 1 younger than you, okay, could be a source of prosperity for you in the Thursday kind of through Sunday window, when this energy is really, really active. Okay, that's another thought I have for you. Or your significant long-term relationship partner. And the word travel brings you into a new connection to abundance. Venus does rule your house of shared resources with that spouse as well. And you can see that there's a lot going on here. But with Mercury, there's a lot of conversations about the resources that you and a partner share. And there's some chance that you and your partner could win the lottery with Jupiter here. And you're just talking about, yay, us, let's divide it up. And there's a lot of emails about the prosperity that you both just had land in your lap. Wouldn't that be a nice story for a handful of you guys? Let's go ahead and draw a card, and then we're going to be done on our story here. I don't have an outro for you today. I don't think I do. I usually try to whip in something about what's going on in my world, and a little narrative, a little anecdote that can inspire you and bring you something positive. But I'm actually feeling I don't have anything about that happening. Okay, so one thing I want you to think about, it may not be your story. When Venus is in the house of the other person, it is going to be often about another person too. In this case, a partner, business partner, client, or female. To be fair, in money, to be fair, number 38. Well, Venus activates the house of shared resources. Can you be fair regarding money that you share with another? Maybe you have to divide the lottery ticket winnings. All right, 38. I'm coming. To be fair. It's sorry, taking me forever here. Plus, I'm ready for a shower. I'm just so hot today. Now is the time for even exchanges, right? Justice will prevail, and you will be treated accordingly in all your affairs. Now, if you're going through separation of assets, which can happen with this because of the 8th house, right? This is a story to listen to. You'll be able to negotiate fair settlements. Mutual gain is a gift to you and your partners and your colleagues. This is a good time to square away your finances and to take stock of how you've been compensated for your work. This card signifies balance, justice, and negotiation. So remember that all things must be fairly recompensed. Keep this as your truth, and so it will be. Thanks for listening, guys. Come join me in Sky Reader. I'd love to see you there. And I will be closing that discount code up of Sky 20. It's already closed for you. Now you can go for Sky 10 for 10% off. It's such an affordable class. You won't believe how much stuff you're getting for what you're getting. If you have any problems with PayPal, I have a Stripe link you can use instead. Some people reached out to me. If you're Canadian and you're struggling financially, reach out to me privately and I can adjust for your Canadian exchange rate. So I work with you to work in, so you can get into this class and so you can have know enough astrology to time your best life. I won't be your weather girl forever, right? I will not be doing this forever. So I'd like you to be able to do it for yourself. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. And I'll be dropping a video on Thursday, a second eclipse video for the solar eclipse. My first one is already out. Go take a look at it. The second one is going to address more than the finger of God, but other elements of the sky that I did not have a chance to talk about in the first video. Take care, be well, and I'll see you next time.